Welcome back to the podcast. We have all been there. That moment where something in your life just isn't working anymore. You've probably felt it for a while. You've tried to ignore it. You've maybe even tried to push through it. But eventually you hit that point where you can't unsee it. And now you're sitting there thinking, okay, something needs to change. But what do I actually do? If that's you right now, then I want to let you know that you're in the right place because in this series, we're walking through the 5 courage moves that will get you unstuck and actually moving forward in your life. We're not just thinking about it, we're not just talking about it, like we're actually moving. And so far, our first 2 episodes in the series, they have covered the courage to get still and the courage to tell the truth. And today, this is where things really just start to open up. I will say that if you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes of the series, I'd recommend going back just because it's going to set this really solid foundation for your movement forward. However, if you're just jumping into this series here too, I know that this will get you moving in the direction. So I want you to listen in, all right? Either way, this is probably my favorite courage move. Of the entire 5 moves that I'm going to talk about in this season, this one I can say has opened up opportunities for my life that I simply I can't even explain. So let's get into it. We have all been there. Like you finally admit that something isn't working. You get still, you tell the truth, and then your brain goes, okay, so now what? And suddenly it feels like your options are A, stay and be miserable, stay and be miserable because change would be too hard, or B, blow up everything, risk everything, change everything. And honestly, neither of those options feels good. So what do? We freeze, we stay stuck, we spiral, and we just keep doing the same thing over and over again, hoping, praying that someone or something or some unplanned event is going to save us. Here's what I know to be true, that you are almost never stuck because you don't have options. You're stuck because you've only allowed yourself to see just 2. And most of the time, those 2 options are both extremes that your brain has created simply because it seemed more convenient or it seemed more safe. So today's courage move is this: the courage to find option C. Let me explain. Our brains, they love simplicity. It wants this like clean and clear and predictable decisions, is what it likes. So it creates this false perception of limited options: this or that. The tyranny of the or. Stay or leave. Speak up or stay quiet. Go all in or do nothing. Because if those are the only 2 options, our brains can usually convince us to just stay exactly where we are, which is safe and predictable and familiar. All the things our brain just loves. But the cost of not making that change is that you end up spending so much time trying to solve the wrong problem. And you keep trying to make option A or option B work when deep down, you already know that neither of them is it. And that ping pong back and forth is exhausting, and it's exactly what keeps you stuck. So let's just ground ourselves for a second, okay? You got still. Step 1, you started hearing yourself. That right there, that's awareness unlocked. You told the truth. You named exactly what's going on without judgment. That is acceptance. And now Now we're finally, okay, solving for the right problem. So we've gone from thinking, hey, I'm just tired, or oh, everybody else is, struggling with this too, or one day I'll have enough time or enough money or a better boss or better friends or enough whatever we've allowed ourselves to believe was the issue. And instead, because we've done our homework, our step one and our step two, now we're sitting there and we're noticing it's like, wait, whew, okay, I've just outgrown this. Hmm, wait, I don't actually want this anymore. Wait, this doesn't fit with who I'm becoming. And that right there, that's where the game changes. So I'm going to show you how this whole finding options C thing. Okay. This isn't just like a nice idea. This is how people actually create change. So I'm going to give you three examples. People who have proven just to be brilliant, impactful human beings on this planet. An example I often speak about is Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx and the youngest self-made female billionaire with a B, okay? She, in her story, she didn't just quit her job immediately. She knew it wasn't what she wanted to do, but she didn't just quit and she didn't stay stuck either. She built Spanx while selling fax machines. She didn't just choose A or B. She built her option C and it turned into an empire. Reese Witherspoon, she's another one. She is often recognized as like one of the world's highest earning and most powerful women in entertainment. She didn't just accept the very limited roles that were being offered to her. And she didn't just leave Hollywood, right? Those were her either or options. Instead, she went out and she created her own production company. So, option C for her, it looked like ownership of her career, ownership of her success. And then another one that I just absolutely love, Lin-Manuel Miranda. I just love what he does. He completely changed Broadway theater with the release of Hamilton. And so for him, his options, he didn't just follow the traditional Broadway path because that is what they say you have to do to have success. He also like so he didn't believe those lies or just mold thinking that, okay, I'm never going to have success in Broadway or I have to follow this path. Instead, he created something entirely new. He blended hip hop and history and released Hamilton. And at the time, you think about it, I mean, when it came out, folks had some things to say. It probably looked a little weird, right? I think option C often does, though. I think it looks and it seems and it feels a little weird, creative, out there before it actually ends up looking brilliant. Because what he released out into the world, it was indeed brilliance. So here's the move for you. Anytime you feel like it's this or that, I want you to pause and I just want you to ask yourself, what is my option C? It's probably not the obvious answer. It's probably not the safe answer. It's most likely the one that you haven't even let yourself consider yet. You've got to challenge yourself to get creative and to sit there and to just say, man, I wonder what my option C could look like in this situation. Because option C, it requires something different from us. It does. It requires expansion. It requires outside our pattern thinking. It requires us to stop waiting for someone else to hand you the path, and it requires you to start creating it. And of course, that can feel uncomfortable because there is no template, but that's also where the beauty lies. I want to make this real for you. Before you jump into option C, I do think that we've got to do just a quick reset because that's going to help you find option C from a grounded place. And option C is it's most likely already in you, and it's what's going to be if you do it from this grounded place. It's what will be most aligned with what your authentic self truly wants. So you're going to do these three things. The first one is you're going to reconnect with your authentic self. And to do that, I just want you to think about who are you wanting to be in your life? Not what you want to have. Who do you want to be? And just list out like the first few qualities that maybe matter most to you. Maybe you want to be an attentive parent. Maybe it's most important to you to be a connected spouse, or maybe you know that you want to be this radiant light for others. Like, what actually matters to you? And when you think about it and you think about being that person, notice what kind of energy shift happens for you. And maybe even to like looking at your energy, like what brings you energy or what drains it. Maybe that'll help you uncover too, like who do you really want to be? And the best thing you could do for yourself here is just to be honest. Um, Most people don't actually know what they want. They just know what they don't want is where our brains go first. So take the time, step number one, really take that look inward and ask yourself who you want to be based on the values that are most important to you. And let that start to reveal what it is you really actually want. All right. Step two, you're going to get clear on reality, not fear. What are the actual facts? Not the stories you've been telling yourself, not the assumptions, not the emotions, the facts. I have 2 kids. Fact. Can't do anything about that. Don't want to do anything about that. I can't change anything until I'm at least 40. That's a story. It's a story we tell ourselves. That's a story. Be really careful because your brain is going to try and dress fear up as logic. What you're doing here, though, is essentially you're taking a non attached, like black and white, factual look at the things that really you can't change because they're just the facts. It's not the stories, they're the facts. And that's important for this next step. Step 3 is your decision filter. So, AKA, this becomes your non negotiables. Like now that you have taken the intentional time to say, okay, these are the facts, these are the stories, this is who I really want to be, what is aligned to that. Now you need something that actually helps you make a decision because without this, without defining these non negotiables, you're going to find option C, but you're still not going to move. So the question here that I want you to ask yourself is like, if this change actually worked, what are the 3 things that are a non negotiable for me right now to move forward? Pick 3. Only 3. Because if everything matters, nothing actually matters. Just 3. And I want them to be grounded. Like it's so important that they're not fluffy, that they're not fear-based, like grounded. So what do I mean by fluffy? 2 examples of fluffy. Okay. So like, I just want to feel happy. Hear that one all the time. I just don't want to be stressed. That's great. It's lovely that you want those things. Most of us do want those things, but that doesn't actually guide your decision. So instead, 3 non-negotiables, they might sound something like this. Okay, non-negotiable. I need to be home for dinner at least 4 nights a week. Non-negotiable. Guide your decisions. I need to generate X level of income within the next 6 months. Okay, pretty clear. Can guide and align decisions to that. Or I need work that allows me to grow not just maintain. You feel the difference? Like those actually shape your options. Because now, when you're going to look at your options, you're not asking, "Ooh, which one is just less scary?" You're asking which option actually meets what matters most to me right now. And I'm going to throw this side part out there too, because I see this is where some of us get caught up. This is absolutely a place I've gotten caught up, is that your non-negotiables, they're not permanent, okay? They are for this season. These options that you're exploring, this chapter that you're wanting to grow from and through and get to the other side. Like your non-negotiables, they're for this season. Don't overthink it. Don't try to future-proof your entire life. Just get really clear on like these are the 3 things that are non-negotiable for me to move forward with right now. That's it. Okay, let's bring this all together. So, how do I actually do this? So, you're going to reconnect to who you are and what you actually want. You're going to know your facts. They are going to tell you what's real versus what is a story or what is just fear. And then you are going to define your non negotiables because that is going to tell you what matters. And then option C is how you actually bring it all together. To find option C, I want you to ask, if I didn't have to choose between this or that, what else could this look like? And let yourself sit there for a minute because it's normally not immediate. Often, sometimes I'll ask myself, like, I wonder what this could look like if I could do both. Or I wonder what this could look like if it turned out even better than I expected. I wonder what this could look like if, and then fill in the blank. That wonder posture, it welcomes creativity to actually meet reality. A couple examples that I want to give you. So, if you're feeling stuck in your career, your brain says stay and be miserable or quit and start over. Option C, maybe you drop to part time while you explore something else. Or maybe option C for you is you set a boundary that creates space for job searching. If you're feeling stuck in your business, option A, maybe it looks like hire help and take a big financial hit. Or option B feels like, I guess I'll just stay overwhelmed. So, what would option C look like? Maybe it's that you bring on someone part time or on a project basis, or maybe it's that you bring someone newer in with a little less experience and they can gain experience while supporting you. See how that's a win win? If you're feeling stuck in maybe balancing like work life and family life, option A sometimes sounds like be present with the kids and work is going to suffer, or commit everything to work so I can succeed, but be absent with my family. So, what's option C? Uh, Maybe it's a hybrid schedule. Again, maybe it's a boundary shift about the hours that you're willing to work and then a renegotiation of expectations. You see how this works? All right. So there are more options than you think to any stuck situation. The hard truth that most people don't want to hear is that you don't lack options. You're just trying to solve this from the same place that's keeping you stuck. So here's what I want you to sit with. Where in your life have you been feeling like it's this or that? And what would it look like to create your option C? And I want you to write it all down, okay? Write this down, the situation you feel stuck in, what you think option A is, what you think option B is, and then force yourself to come up with option C. And if you're really feeling like the overachiever, I'm sure you are, go 3 deep on your option C. Not one option C, but like go deep. Try to find your option A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever it is, okay? Try and stretch your brain because that's where your magic lives. Once you start to see new possibilities, everything starts to feel possible, and your thinking and your beliefs and your possibilities, it all starts to expand. And then the next question becomes, okay, now how to actually move on with this. And that's where we're going to go in the next episode. And listen, what we're walking through here, this is exactly why I built the courage community, because finding option C in your head is one thing, but actually like creating it in real life, that takes support, that takes perspective, that takes people who won't let you shrink back to A or B. So if you are in a season where you know something needs to change, I want to invite you to come join us. Save your spot with the link that's in the notes, and let's just talk about what would change for you if you got serious about actually making this happen in your life. And then, of course, I just want you to remember that courage changes everything. And sometimes it starts with just that one question. What could my option C look like? The courage to find option C. Until next time, bye. Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. It means the world to me that you're here to ride in the struggle bus with me and that you're willing to consider different perspectives, tools, and techniques that just might provide a little bit of relief and get you one step closer to the abundance that is available and waiting for us all. I hope you take a moment to grant yourself some grace where you've been denying it, some love where you didn't realize maybe it was right in front of you, and some faith where you thought all was lost. If this episode had an impact on you, would you please share a comment with a review? I'd love to hear what landed for you, and it helps us get the word out to our fellow struggle bus riders. So please review what was impactful for you. Just know these episodes are a pure labor of love in a space where I'm growing alongside you. I'm evolving every day, and I look forward to all the ways and the things and the perspectives and opinions and choices that will change over the course of time in my own life, day to day. Until next time, just know that you are loved, you are divinely cared for, and in the struggle, the journey of this life really is beautiful. I'm glad that we're in it together. Cheers.